Aluminum wiring poses several risks, and its presence, when not addressed properly, can constitute a violation of the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The NEC generally discourages the use of aluminum wiring in new installations or alterations that involve replacing existing wiring due to its inherent susceptibility to overheating and fire hazards. One primary concern is corrosion. Aluminum wire corrodes more readily than copper, and this corrosion leads to increased electrical resistance at connection points. The higher resistance generates heat, potentially igniting nearby materials and causing a fire. Secondly, aluminum exhibits a characteristic known as creep. This means that under sustained pressure, such as that exerted by a screw terminal, aluminum wire can gradually deform and stretch. Over time, this creep effect loosens connections, further increasing resistance and the likelihood of arcing, which is another significant fire hazard. Thirdly, aluminum and copper possess distinct electrical properties. Directly connecting these two metals can create galvanic corrosion, accelerating the deterioration of the connection and compromising its integrity. The presence of the original aluminum homons, despite the copper rewiring, would likely be considered an NEC violation due to these inherent risks. To rectify this situation, the ideal solution involves replacing the aluminum homons entirely with copper wiring. This ensures compliance with current safety standards, minimizes the risk of future fires, and provides a more reliable and durable electrical system. However, there are alternative wiring methods that can be considered under specific circumstances. Firstly, ideal twisted wire nut pigtailing involves connecting copper wires to the existing aluminum wires using specialized wire connectors designed specifically for aluminum to copper connections. These wire nuts are filled with an antioxidant compound that inhibits corrosion and maintains a secure connection. Secondly, copper longtailing by amp, also known as pigtailing, uses short lengths of copper wire, cold tails or jumpers, to connect the aluminum wires to the copper wiring system. Again, specialized connectors and antioxidant compounds are essential to prevent corrosion and ensure a safe and reliable connection. It's crucial to emphasize that these alternative methods should only be implemented by qualified electricians who possess a thorough understanding of the NEC requirements and extensive experience working with aluminum wiring. They must meticulously follow proper installation procedures and utilize appropriate materials to mitigate the risks associated with aluminum wiring. The insurance company's insistence on either all-new wiring or alternative wiring methods is justified given the history of fires. Complete replacement with copper wiring represents the safest and most reliable approach. The NEC addresses aluminum wiring in several articles. Although a complete enumeration is not possible here, it's important to be aware of some key sections. NEC 110.3b mandates that all equipment be installed and used in accordance with the instructions included in the listing or labeling. This is pertinent because connectors used for aluminum wiring must be specifically listed for that purpose. NEC 110.14 covers termination requirements, specifying that connection devices must be identified for the material of the conductor. This means that connectors used for aluminum wiring must be clearly marked as suitable for aluminum conductors. NEC 200.10 discusses the identification of grounded conductors, which is relevant because improper connections involving the neutral conductor can exacerbate problems with aluminum wiring. NEC 250 provides comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding, which are critical for minimizing electrical hazards associated with aluminum wiring. NEC 310 deals with conductors for general wiring, including ampacity ratings and allowable uses, which are essential considerations when evaluating the suitability of existing aluminum wiring. NEC 406.3c addresses the replacement of receptacles, and it's important to ensure that any replacement receptacles are compatible with the existing aluminum wiring if it is not being completely replaced. The specific type of aluminum alloy used in the original wiring is also a factor to consider. Older aluminum wiring, particularly that installed before the mid-1970s, often used an alloy that was more prone to problems. Newer aluminum alloys are generally more stable, but the connections still require careful attention. When evaluating the existing aluminum wiring, a thorough inspection should be performed to identify any signs of corrosion. overheating, or loose connections. Infrared thermography can be a useful tool for detecting hot spots in the wiring system. Any damaged or deteriorated wiring should be replaced immediately. In addition to the NEC, local building codes may have additional requirements or restrictions regarding aluminum wiring. It's important to consult with the local building department to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. The selection of appropriate connectors for aluminum wiring is critical. Listed and labeled connectors designed for aluminum to copper connections should be used. These connectors typically have features such as antioxidant compounds and pressure plates to maintain a secure and corrosion-resistant connection. The proper installation of connectors is also essential. The manufacturer's instructions should be followed carefully, and the connectors should be torqued to the specified value. Over-tightening or under-tightening the connectors can lead to connection failures. Regular maintenance of aluminum wiring is important to ensure its continued safety and reliability. Connections should be inspected periodically for signs of corrosion or looseness. If any problems are detected, they should be addressed immediately by a qualified electrician. In summary, while aluminum wiring can be safe when properly installed and maintained, it requires careful attention to detail and adherence to established safety standards. The risks associated with aluminum wiring should not be underestimated, and it's important to take appropriate measures to mitigate those risks. Replacement with copper wiring is generally the preferred solution, but alternative methods can be used under certain circumstances, provided that they are implemented by qualified electricians using appropriate materials and techniques. The extensive renovation involving the installation of new copper wiring improved the electrical system, but the unchanged aluminum hormones present a persistent hazard that requires attention. Addressing this issue is crucial to ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system and preventing future fires. The decision to leave the aluminum hormones in place represents a compromise that undermines the overall quality and safety of the electrical installation. While alternative wiring methods may offer a partial solution, they do not eliminate the inherent risks associated with aluminum wiring. A complete replacement with copper wiring provides the most reliable and long-term solution. The history of fires in the condominium underscores the need for a comprehensive and proactive approach to electrical safety. The insurance company's requirement for all new wiring or alternative wiring methods reflects a prudent and responsible approach to risk management. It's important to consider the potential consequences of a fire, including property damage, injuries, and even loss of life. The cost of replacing the aluminum wiring is a small price to pay compared to the potential costs of a fire. In addition to the technical aspects of aluminum wiring, it's also important to consider the legal and liability implications. If a fire occurs as a result of defective aluminum wiring, the property owner or manager could be held liable for damages. It's essential to ensure that the electrical system is in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations to minimize the risk of legal action. The long-term benefits of replacing the aluminum wiring outweigh the short-term costs. A new copper wiring system will provide a more reliable, durable, and safe electrical system for many years to come. It will also increase the value of the property and reduce the risk of future problems. In conclusion, the presence of the original aluminum hormones represents a significant safety concern and a potential NEC violation. Replacement with copper wiring is the preferred solution, but alternative methods can be used under certain circumstances, provided that they are implemented by qualified electricians using appropriate materials and techniques. A comprehensive and proactive approach to electrical safety is essential to protect the property and its occupants from the risk of fire. When assessing the options for addressing the aluminum wiring, it's important to consider not only the cost, but also the long-term safety and reliability of the electrical system. A qualified electrical contractor can provide valuable guidance and expertise in evaluating the situation and recommending the best course of action. The selection of an electrical contractor is an important decision. It's important to choose a contractor who is licensed, insured, and experienced in working with aluminum wiring. The contractor should also be familiar with the NEC requirements and local building codes. Before hiring a contractor, it's a good idea to obtain multiple bids and check references. It's also important to ask the contractor about their experience with aluminum wiring and their approach to ensuring safety. The contract with the electrical contractor should clearly specify the scope of work, the materials to be used, the timeline for completion, and the payment terms. It's also important to include a clause that requires the contractor to obtain all necessary permits and inspections. During the electrical work, it's important to monitor the progress and ensure that the contractor is following proper procedures. If you have any concerns or questions, don't hesitate to ask the contractor for clarification. After the electrical work is completed, it's important to obtain a certificate of compliance from the local building department. This certificate confirms that the work has been inspected and approved and that it meets all applicable codes and regulations. Proper documentation of all electrical work is essential for future reference. Keep copies of all permits, inspections, contracts, and invoices in a safe place. This documentation may be required for insurance purposes or for future property sales. In addition to addressing the aluminum wiring, it's also important to ensure that all other electrical components in the condominium are in good working order. This includes checking the circuit breakers, outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures. Any damaged or deteriorated component should be replaced immediately. Regular electrical safety inspections are recommended to identify potential problems before they become serious hazards. A qualified electrical inspector can thoroughly examine the electrical system and provide recommendations for improving safety. Smoke detectors are an essential part of any fire safety plan. Ensure that smoke detectors are installed in all required locations and that they are tested regularly. Carbon monoxide detectors are also recommended, especially in units with fuel-burning appliances. A well-maintained electrical system is essential for the safety and well-being of the property and its occupants. Taking proactive steps to address potential hazards can help prevent fires and protect lives. By understanding the risks associated with aluminum wiring and taking appropriate measures to mitigate those risks, you can create a safer and more secure environment for everyone. The decision to invest in electrical safety is a wise one that can pay dividends in the long run. It's important to remember that electrical safety is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Regular inspections, maintenance, and upgrades are essential to ensure the continued safety and reliability of the electrical system. By making electrical safety a priority, you can protect your property, your family, and your neighbors from the devastating consequences of fire. It is important to consult with qualified professionals and adhere to all applicable codes and regulations to ensure the safety and integrity of the electrical system. Firstly, consider obtaining multiple quotes from licensed and insured electrical contractors experienced in aluminum wiring remediation. Secondly, thoroughly review the proposed scope of work, ensuring it addresses all aluminum wiring concerns and complies with the NEC and local codes. Thirdly, verify that the contractor will obtain all necessary permits and inspections from the local authorities. Fourthly, insist on using only UL-listed and approved materials and connectors specifically designed for aluminum to copper connection. Fifthly, ensure the contractor provides a detailed warranty for their workmanship and materials. Sixthly, schedule regular electrical safety inspections to monitor the condition of the wiring system and address any potential issues promptly. Seventhly, educate residents about the potential hazards of aluminum wiring and the importance of reporting any electrical problems immediately. Eighthly, maintain accurate records of all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and contractor invoices. Ninthly, consult with the insurance company to understand their specific requirements for aluminum wiring remediation. Tenthly, prioritize the safety of residents by implementing a comprehensive fire safety plan, including smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and fire extinguishers.